Hey, buddy. Welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm your host, Megaroar 31. We have the truck race, hopefully. I know there was a little mild question if any of these races would go off this weekend in Miami because of the, well, last week we had like snow during the truck race and rain to weather completely disrupted it. It was a pretty good race, so it was kind of disappointing, but at least they got the whole race in. So thank you, NASCAR, for that. Not just cutting it off when you could have and calling a night, but actually patiently waiting to see if they could get the race out there. But the issue this week is no rain. It's like really dry in the Miami area, and they have like fire warnings. So they're just kind of worried that if the trucks, flipped over and sparked, set the whole infield on fire. So, but I believe that all's good and that there's minimal chance of any cancellation. So everything should run as it intended. I did not look at the weather. I will pull that up quickly right now. So unfortunately, again, this is a speculation video, and so will Xfinity be also just because the qualifying is going to be done at like 6 p.m. Eastern time. The race starts at 8, so there's going to be like 2 hours max to try to get everything broken down. So, and the same thing with Xfinity, a little bit better. Practice qualifying should be over like 12:35 p.m. ish, and then the race I think is at like 4, so it's like a 3 hour window for that one. So that's a little bit more helpful, but still they're very tight. So impossible to do videos. I apologize for that. We do the best that we can here. But these speculation videos have been decent. Like we got Corey Heim last week, he won the race. We um, and actually it's cool because when I was putting like the actual numbers in there for a starting position, a lot of them were really close to what the computer model. Now I know we don't have a ton of data early in the season, and it's can get a little bit goofy, but let's look here. Miami weather, 72 and sunny, 76 and sunny. Sunday, 2% chance of rain. I think we'll be good this weekend, so shouldn't have to worry about any weather. So let's just go down, break down the field. The reason the drivers are in blue, I usually do that during the road course, meaning that they're proficient. This is another type of proficiency that we really need to focus on for this track. There is, as they do more and more repaves, like Vegas is starting to wear down, so it's starting to become more of a tire wear track. But Homestead is a tire wear track. You need to know how to manage your tires because if you do, it's going to give you such an advantage. And if for some reason you can stretch it out and save a set of tires for the end, it is going to give you such an advantage that you're going to cut through the field like a hot knife through butter. So the guys in blue are really good tire wear drivers. If you look back at not only this track, but some of the other tire wear tracks that are out there, thinking like Darlington, Atlanta was like probably the most extreme one before the repave. Auto Club was before they tore it down. But even like Nashville to a little bit of degree, Richmond is more of a tire wear track than a lot of the intermediate ones. So there's a lot of tracks to get data off of. And then the nice thing too is they just ran this in October. It was a late playoff race last year, not early in the season. So it's we're within like less than 6 months of the data here. So lots of good stuff to look at. So start at the top. Corey Day, I think just my model's got him on the pole just because he's done pretty well to start the season qualifying. Finishes have not been there. So I'm going to mark him as a GPP. And this is a Spire truck. This number 7 truck should be really good. And I think he's got some talent. And I think that he's going to have a good season. But I think it's the same thing as Lane Riggs last year, where it's going to take a little bit of time to settle in before things start clicking. And then look out at the end of the season. He might miss the playoffs like Riggs did, but he might like run off 2, 3 wins in a row and have like a successful end of the season and then look out in 2026. Kyle Larson is coming from Cup down to run in another Spire truck that is a very good truck also. Kyle Larson, awesome at tire wear, elite at tire wear, very, very, very good at the tire wear, and has the unfair advantage here that he is not racing for stage points or anything. So he can pit early. He can do weird strategies. He doesn't have to stay out there. He can get track position and hold it. And I think that he's going to have a very solid day. And if he screws up in qualifying and or anything like that, or has to the truck breaks and can't do qualifying, he's going to be uber chalk. It's just like Kyle Busch coming in into the race. Like he should come down here and he should just eat, but they priced him at 13,000. So usually what I do in situations like this is I always split my cash. And I talk about this in videos all the time. When there's two drivers or two builds that really make sense, I can't pick between them, then I'll take the amount of money I'll play in cash, say it's $50, and I'll put 25 in one scenario and 25 in the other. And usually what I do is I throw my and the $4 horn is the main GPP, and then I do some multipliers, and everything else is double ups. And since the beginning of the season, the only slate I haven't made money on was the Homestead, not the Homestead one, the Xfinity race at Vegas last week. That one just was weird. It just didn't work out. I didn't lose all my money. I cashed a little, but I didn't cash as much as that I put in, so I lost. But I'm up thousands to begin the year, and I only play like maybe 100 to 200 slate because my job is to help people and answer questions. And if a driver's out and I'm playing a billion lineups, I don't have enough time to go in and fix them all. So I play anywhere from 3 to 5 lines, sometimes in like cup or if it's like a dominator race, I'll do the 20 max and then I'll just rotate like the dominators in with the rest of my core plays in GPPs. And then maybe I'll do them like in a dollar and then I'll throw them like in a dollar double up to hedge or a $3 double up. So that's usually how I'm playing this. So tomorrow I'll have Kyle Busch, not Kyle Busch. Yeah, then I'll really lose some money. So you ain't even racing here. I'll have Kyle Larson as a cash. And then another one, I'm probably going to go with a more balanced build. So obviously you want, there's 134 laps here. So there's probably at least 1 to 2 dominators that you're looking for. It's the same thing as Vegas was. And you probably want to see who's like in the first or second position. And they're going to be your first dominator and then a second dominator. And then if you feel there's a strong case for a third dominator, that's fine, but then you want to go for place differential after that. So nail the dominators and go for place differential. They, I think, is going backwards. Kyle Larson, I think, is definitely be a dominator. Uh, if he starts further on down the field, then again, like I said, he doesn't have to pit for track position. He can mail it in for the whole first um, stage, and then come out in the second stage, or bit before the end of the first stage, come out on the second stage when everybody else has to pit, get the track position, keep the track position. So manage the tires. You might be able to go longer, stretch it out, and maybe do it on less stop than some of the other people out there. Again, because he's got the advantage of being able to get the track position through short pitting instead of that. So that could help him save tires too and have a fresh set at the end. So lots of things in his favor here. And I think that's good. But then again, if he doesn't go out there and dominate and probably win this race or have some great place differential to pay off 13,000 is going to be very tough. So that's one thing that we have to consider there. Kruth was disappointing. He was out on the pole last year at Vegas and ran really well. He just couldn't get it done. But seventh is respectable. He's finished eighth at Homestead, and I think that he's got a lot of upside. I know that if depending on who you're reading, some people say Roger Cruz isn't proficient with tire wear and he's got some work to do as a young driver. Others say he's already there. So I think from what I've seen, he's fine. I feel he's more of a GPP guy than a cash guy, but if he goes out there and gets the pole and looks dominant in practice, then obviously he's going to be a dominator. I have him as upside dominator, probably GPP for now. Grant Anfinger is going to be my first prime play. He finished first here last year. He finished second in Las Vegas. Between he and Heim, they've been kind of the most dominating guys on these types of tracks. And he's saving you 1,200 off of Heim. So I think Heim could also be a prime play if like Enfinger gets the pole or second and he's going to be the dominator. You might just flip the tags on them. So I think you really need to consider the two of these in your lineup. It's going to be hard with Larson also, but that's why the other prime plays are so cheap to try to give you some flexibility if you want to try to get all three of them in to try to make it happen. But I think those are where you really need to start your lineups is between Enfinger, Haim, and Larson. There are probably the three best drivers in here. If you get all three in the lineup, awesome. If you can't, then maybe do a three max and rotate and have like a Larson and Finger, a Larson Heim, and then Heim and Finger line up and then build the rest with chalky place differential plays, and you should be good in um your single or your three max or whatever you're in there. Hemrick should be like he was good at tire wear and Xfinity, a little bit in Cup, dropping back down in truck, like 13th in Las Vegas here. Hasn't really broken through. The team's awesome. This MHR racing, like I just kind of worry with Ford trucks this year. Are they spreading themselves a little bit too thin? And are they going to be able to get the results that we've seen them have before when they had like the dominance of like Zane Smith? But it's still early in the season. I think Hemrick is a decent GPP driver. I don't really like him in cash unless unless he has a great place differential or unless he like looked really fast in practice and qualifying and he's like one or two and you think he's going to go out there and be like an early dominator. So that would be a scenario where I'd be okay. Connor Mozak. I have him as one of my 20K drivers. New to the videos, 20K or low owned drivers that I feel that you can put in that 20K lineup, the top GPP. And there's three drivers that are going to differentiate. Then you play all prime plays, chalk plays, whatever like that to have some floor. And hopefully these plays are the ones that differentiate you from other drivers that people might pick and propel you up to do very, very well. And we had a viewer actually ask for him a couple years ago, and I started like really looking at the field each week and popping out three of them for you. So just remember, you're not going to go like a crazy lineup with like if you use all three of these, sometimes two out of three work for you. You don't have to go sometimes three out of three. But this week for this race, I went with one in like the mid range and two in the really low range to give you enough flexibility if you're trying to get like Larson and Heim and another higher priced driver in your lineup. Ross Chastain's in the field also at 10K. Chandler Smith could be a decent play at 9.8. There's Ty Majeski at 9.5. There's lots of high end drivers here. So I really wanted to try to give you a GPP winning lineup with some differentiation plays that people might not look at. And then you can put in the plays that people are on. And then hopefully that will give you some success there. So Mozek, I think people are going to overlook because he has had an abysmal start to the season. 20th in Las Vegas didn't really look good at any of the other races and finishes. So his points per game are 6.77. But I think people are going to forget that he finished third here last year and that he has been good on tire wear tracks and that this is a strong truck and it's a truck that I think should be able to um and he should be able to do really well here. But again, I think he's going to get overlooked. So I'm going to make him the first 20K guy. Ben Rhodes, I think, is going to be an upside dominator here. Good on tire wear track. Homestead finished 12th. Las Vegas finished 14th. It all depends on where he practices and qualifies. BPP to cash play. I think that out of the six drivers that I listed, and Enfinger can be considered a dominator also because put the prime tag on him. So there's about seven guys that I think could go out there and lead laps, and I think Rhodes one of them, but I think it's more of a GPP build unless he hits a polar or a second, and the guy or girl if Brenninger gets the pole or second. Um, gets up there, and if you think that they're not going to they're going to be overtaken and that Rhodes is going to go out there and just like lead lap after lap after lap until the first caution, then definitely he's in play. Sutton's kind of a mystery here. Rackley program's been okay, better than some of the lower ones, not as good as some of the major ones. It's like a mid-major if college basketball going on here. 19th finish at Homestead, 19th at Las Vegas. It's just my finish projection has him as 19th. So if he starts ninth, I definitely a GPP. If he starts like 29th, it's going to have like probably 10 place differential points. Like if he starts below 19th, then he becomes closer and closer to a cash play. If not, then he becomes a GPP play. If he's starting in the top five, he's probably going to be a fade. Caden Honeycutt is another one that I think's strong in cash. I don't know if he's going to qualify 10th here, but 14th place and 12th place finish in Homestead in Las Vegas. And again, my model has him finishing 17th, but I just don't like that. I think there's some bad data from last year. I think he's um, made a lot of progress since then, and I think that he should have some floor. Can be pretty solid as long as he starts probably 12th on back in the field. Stuart Friesen actually has had a renaissance. Like he has been solid this season. I have no problem playing him in cash. Six in Homestead last year. He actually ended the year pretty positive. He started this season pretty positive. He's been up there in the front. He's been up there almost close to winning races a couple weeks, and finished sixth at Homestead, sixth at Las Vegas. My model has him finishing sixth. And if he starts down here 11th, that's 5 places for points. Could lead some laps potentially. I don't think he's going to be a true dominator, but he could lead a little bit. So I like that. I like the price point at 77, and I think he's a solid cash play until if he reverts back into the form of the last couple of years, then we'll take that off, and he'll be the perennial GPP he's always been. But right now, I'm convinced he's a cash play. Majeski, I think, could be a dominator here. Second last year at Homestead, fourth in Las Vegas. Leads laps. My model has him finishing second. I think there's third highest scoring guy after Larson and Heim also. So I think he's definitely somebody that you can consider in your lineups, as well as like Enfinger and Heim. I kind of put him like a little bit below them. I think Enfinger and Heim are the head of the class, and I think that Majeski would be like up in the 1A tier. Bankrum, same thing, a little bit cheaper, a little bit more volatile here. He's not looking at a checker record, but he does tend to have a little bit of bad luck. Fifth in Homestead last year, 10th in Las Vegas. My model has him finishing 12th. I think he could do a little bit better than that. I think he could sniff the bottom of the top 10. So see how he practices and qualifies and go from there. But I think he's got floor for cash. Ross Chastain upside. These trucks really hey, Ross has never ever gone out there and like really look like Ross Chastain, vintage Ross Chastain in like NASCAR or like men playing with boys. But the the talent's there. The team might when he comes, get a little bit of extra sponsorship and money and help. So the truck might be better than if somebody else was running it. That's a no name. And he's good at tire wear. So Moto has him finishing fifth. I think there's a lot of upside here. Probably could go out there, but he's more of a GPP build for me than a cash one. Brandon Jones, I have him as a cash play, which everybody's probably who watched this video for a long time is like, man, what are you doing? Brandon Jones, probably one of the most, he's a checker wrecker. He is like, has tremendous upside on some tracks and tremendous downside on others. And he's not a tire wear guy. So why at 8,600 mega would you say he's a cash play? I just, this Tricon truck is good. I think that he also has the advantage of not having to go out there for stage points because he's competing in Xfinity. He's not competing in the Truck Series. He's dropping down here just for this race. Um, I don't know if it's, he's on the Gibbs team. It's part of the sort of development thing. I don't think he needs more laps or anything. I think they just needed somebody of quality to fill into the one truck, and he was the flavor of the week here. And I think I kind of like it, and I think that he'll have some floor here. So again, if he looks like a dog in practice and he's slow as molasses, then obviously don't play him. But if you're trying to go with a more balanced build, there's not many guys in the 8K range that I feel like super solid about because there's only three anyways. Kruth is okay. Hemrick again is the GPP, and I just don't think Jones is going to qualify as well. But I think that again, with being able to go with alternate pit strategy, is going to give him a huge advantage. I think that he can be solid enough in cash. Lane Riggs. 22nd last year at Homestead. But I know that was the end of the year, but he has done really well. Starting to figure out the tire wear thing. Las Vegas fifth. I think he's got some upside. I think that if he qualifies better in 16th, like up in the top 10, that he's got upside to go out and lead a race. I think that he's aggressive enough to do that. And I think he's got an outside shot to win. So keep him in consideration, especially if he looks really good in practice, if he's got a lot of place differential, or if he starts on the pole or the inside pole and could potentially go out there and lead early. Matt Crafton is going to be another prime play here. 68, I feel, is just egregious. He has lots of experience on these tracks, knows tire wear very well, should come into his advantage. He usually qualifies somewhere in the teens. Uh, Homestead last year finished 11th, ninth in Las Vegas. I figure he's just the bottom of a top 10 truck. He usually qualifies around the bottom of the 20s. So it's usually about 6 to 10 place differential points. Don't think he's going to go out there and dominate lead laps, but you don't really need that much at 6,800. I think he's got a ton of floor, and I love him in cash games. And he helps open up some salary for you to try to get some of those other higher price drivers in there. Andres Perez de Lara, again, a guy that looks like he has a great potential. He's in a Spire truck, which should be super solid. But the problem is he just hasn't. He's been okay this season, but just hasn't put together the finishes that we'd like to see. As you see, the point per game are only 1878. My model has been finished 28th. I think that's just a little bit skewed by the data and bad luck early on, especially keep in mind that he doesn't have like any track data from last year. It's all early on in Daytona and in Atlanta were a little bit of a wreck fest. So definitely could be skewing things. But I still feel he's a GPP. I don't think he's ready for a cash play yet. Chandler Smith in the 38 truck, it's good. He's usually a pretty good tire wear guy. Like I looked at the data, it was more skewed towards truck. So I think he might sneak his way in there. I feel solid for him in cash. He's had an amazing start to the season. Eighth overall in Las Vegas. Did well last year in Xfinity, if I recall, at Homestead and on tire wear tracks. So definitely one to consider in cash. But again, it's a 9,800. It's going to be expensive. I think you just need to look at him and the Majeskis um, and see if you can fit them in with like Heim and Enfinger, depending on where they qualify. Woods Fenhus and Garcia, pretty much all the same play here. They are $400 a piece. Fenias has had the best finishes out of all of them. Woods had the worst. So they're all GPPs for me. If I have to pick one, probably be Fenias, just based on finishing position and form the season. The rest of them, last man in a cash lineup. If you need somebody in the 6K range, I'm okay with that. Again, I take Phineas out of all of them, but we'll have to see how they practice and qualify. Giovanni, gonna make him a prime play here. He has been so solid to start the season, 15th in Las Vegas, and it's just I just think that I don't know how he is on tire wear, but I think he'll be fine. I think that he usually doesn't qualify great, but he does usually finish great. And just outside the top 15. So I'll take that and 7K make him a prime play. Munoz is gonna be GPP. If he starts in the 30s, then he's got a little bit of place differential probably. If he starts above 30, then you're starting to play with fire. Tanner Gray, I think, is a solid cash play. Struggle a little bit here and sometimes struggles on tire wear tracks, although he did look pretty good in Vegas, coming in third here and was up there like contending a lot for most of the night. But I think that you can consider him in cash here, um, compared to like some of the other guys that probably could start down here and in the 7K range. Like you've got a lot of really good options. Like I said, you have like besides Day, unless Day starts like dead last, and if Day's place differential play, he could be in there. But between Mozak, between Friesen, between Giovanni here, I believe between Tanner Gray, like you got to hammer the 7K range. It's just going to help you, and if you're trying to get too many of not going balanced and going with some up there, you might not get the 7K range. You might have to play high ones and you might be all like 5K ones, which I get it. But in the second lineup, if you're splitting your cash, play more balanced and play all these 7K guys. And then um, if Larson's in your other one, that's fine. Or play Larson, the 7K guys, and you can get some your final couple guys in should be or you could probably get another 9 or 10K guy to make it work. So um that's I think the 7K range is going to be very, very important. And I think nailing it is going to be the key to the slate. And honestly, unless like something goes really goofy in practice and qualifying, I don't think you can go wrong with many of them other than Day. So GPP row here now. Mills, 34th, had some struggles, but a 16th in Vegas, so he's like hit or miss. Not bad start to the season, so solid GPP. Brenninger, I have high hopes for her. I think the learning curve is a little steeper than I thought it would be. Like when she came from ARCA last year, ran a couple of truck races, it looked formidable. But it's just again, and when you start with Daytona and then go right to Atlanta and you just like last week was the first like actual like intermediate track, and we'll see how she does with tire wear. 21st is respectable, so I think she's just like a low 20s driver, but if we start to see some momentum there, switch to cash. But GPP for me. Nathan Bird, pretty consistent, 29th Homestead, 29th at Vegas. um Probably could start 29th, finish 29th. If you need somebody at 5,200, last man in cash, I'm okay with that. Michael Disdeer. Nobody is going to know who he is, probably. So, who is he? Let me introduce him. He's a 51-year-old French motorcycle racer with 3 truck starts in Daytona in like '08 and like '09. I think it was 24th and 11th. And then I think someplace in the 2010s, he finished 19th at Vegas. So he he has raced ARCA multiple races too, but again, it was like in the late early 20 um 20th 21st century, like 2007, 2008, and then a couple other ones in like the 2010s, and nothing really recently. So I don't know what to think, but my model really likes him just based on his 3 limited. He always qualified somewhere in the 20s, but he consistently like finished like top 20. Like, so I think that people are going to overlook him. And I think obviously he's not a cash play, I don't think, but in the 20K lineup, I'm willing to take a shot on him just based on how well he seemed to have performed in the truck with his limited experience. Parsons and Reum, GPPs for me. Ogata. This is another one which I think is going to be sneaky. 25th at Homestead last year. And that was in a glory to God truck, I believe, which were horrible. Um, so he is in his own truck now. He's got some backing and he brought some pretty cool people in to work with him. I know you probably saw him. I think it was on a road race last year, maybe Coda or one of the road races. Maybe it was Watkins Glen or something. But he was the human caution cone. Like he spun out and caused 4 or 5 cautions. Like anytime the yellow flag came, you knew it was probably Ogata did it again. Um, so I think that people are going to look at that and be like, I'm not touching this guy. And that's my first thought. But then when I look a little bit deeper into the data and at some of the tire wear tracks that he ran in Xfinity when he took over from Jesse Inua, I had him run his car when he tried to like fund his own team at one point, and then that wasn't like he and Emmett Smith, I think, was involved in it, and it wasn't working out. And then like Weatherman and Nogata jumped in there. Wasn't horrible, and that equipment wasn't great. This truck has looked okay so far, so I'm gonna give it a shot on GPP. And again, at 48 and 49, and the other guy at 72, this opens up so much salary for you to go up there and grab um, some of the studs and make a kind of stars and scrub lineup. Stephen Mazzoli, fade. I don't think he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap. And Spencer Boyd, like it doesn't look like he's going to qualify well. My model has him finishing 31st, but 27th at Homestead wasn't dead last. Las Vegas, 25th, wasn't dead last. So if he starts in the 30s and he gets up in the 20 and gets you like anywhere from 5 to 10 places for intro points at 5,500, that's almost a cash play. Having GPP could be a cash play. All depends on where he qualifies. So that's what I got for you. If you want the real lineup and everything, you can go to the description video, and there's a link for our website, FSIDFS.com, for $5 for the weekend. Like some sites, don't have like a la carte stuff like this, where if you want NASCAR, you have to buy all their coverage and pay like $65 for a month just to get a week of coverage, and some of the packages are just very, very high. So we try to keep it really reasonably priced. We need to keep the lights on, and come cost to run a business. So any subscriptions help out with that. So if you want the full thing, it's really cheap. You get all weekend. You'll get Xfinity. You'll get Cup, and you'll get the truck ones. So again, Xfinity and truck are going to be speculation because there's too short a window. But you'll have the official sheet with the official plays and primes and all that for $5. And and with Cup, you get like FanDuel projections and stuff too. Plus, you're in the Discord, and even when your subscription expires, you stay in the Discord. Sometimes well, first of all, you have direct access still through the Discord to contact me with questions. If you aren't subbed and you do get stuck on one of these short weeks where you can't get like an official video, then that helps because we can talk there. And this other thing is sometimes we throw out free content and free contests and free subscriptions in there. So never a bad place to be. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Views have been outstanding, even for speculation videos. And with some videos, I've all been over 1,000 views. So a little bit less last week, but the nice weather and stuff's coming. Baseball's coming back. I get it. I didn't expect to be doing like 1.5 every single week throughout the season. If you do, that's amazing. I appreciate it. But if these videos help you, please help us back. All you have to do is like um, the video. That helps it go out more into the YouTube universe there, and get caught on people's algorithms. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I see the people keep on coming in. I mean, we were astounded when we hit 5,000, and now we're continuing to grow. And maybe we'd be by the end of the season, we'll be at like maybe 550, and maybe by next year 6,000. So that's awesome. Appreciate that. And share with your friends. If you're in communities, Discord, chat, or whatever, just post a link for the video and say, hey, this is good information. Watch it. It might help you out. So that's what I want to do. Want to help you out. Want to make sure that you are able to play this NASCAR DFS games responsibly, informed, and be able to enjoy weekend after weekend. If I make you a millionaire, some go you. But I really just want you to be able to be competitive each week and not get frustrated and not spend more money than you can afford to. Just be able to go in there, um, gamble responsibly, make some educated guesses, and maybe make a little extra beer money. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you all. I'll be back tomorrow for the Xfinity um, speculation video, and Saturday night or Sunday morning early for calls. So thanks for watching. Good luck in your contest. Hope you have an amazing weekend. I'll see you next time.